She doesn't have any mana.
Yeah, she is manaless entirely.
So I know you want to show off the kit as a whole, but just tell us what this resource is before we get into seeing the kit as a whole.
So this resource is Spirit.
Okay.
She builds this by damaging gods, or certain actions in her kit can give her a lot of spirit in one go. And you can see that she's actually kind of glowing right now. It's because she's at half. And as she gets closer and closer to being at 100%, and I'll just kind of push it here with auto-attacking. She is a ranged carry. Her primary role is carry. But you can see now she's glowing a lot more intensely as she builds this meter up. And since I kind of want to show the wombo
do it.
combo,
I'm going to stop talking.
We're going to go with the wombo combo. So we're just going to do, so all the cooldowns are on right now. So this is something that you can do in actual gameplay. We're not cheating right now. So you can get a lot of abilities cast very, very quickly.
Pom Pom, what just happened?
Just a lot of things happen.
Should I be scared?
You should probably be scared.
Okay, good to know.
So that was all of her abilities in one go. We'll go through each of them one by one, just so you can explain. We can explain what all that was.
And it looks a little OP, chat, but give us a second. Let's explain what we just saw here, because there are some limits. You know that you can't just cast a million abilities in a row. And yeah, let's talk through it.
So we're always talking about passive first. So this is Mystic Surge. As you deal damage, you gain spirits. And upon reaching 100 spirit, you're basically constantly building to this moment of a lot of power. Up until you get to 100, it's actually not giving you any benefit. But the moment you hit 100, you enter Mystic Surge for 5 seconds. It gives you some baseline stats, which you can see at max rank, which is determined by your ult rank. It actually gives you a lot of stats for free, which is primarily that attack speed, especially is what drives her to be that kind of carry role. But you also get a free use of any of your 1, 2, and 3 as an enhanced ability. So if I have my, let me turn the cooldowns. So if I have used all these things, which will go into what they do, and then I get to 100, which I get to by ulting, you can see I actually have all the abilities back, and then when I throw it, I get my normal abilities back.
Yeah, so after hitting 100, you get 1 free cast.
You get 1 free cast, and that cast is what's considered enhanced. And obviously all the stats associated with it.
Yeah.
So that's the passive. So your game plan is really to play around building up that passive and use that as a moment to just get a free cast off and go. Your first ability, which oh no, hit the buttons.
It's okay. This is the worst. It's a great laptop. It's a very powerful laptop. The keyboard is a little hard to navigate.
The problem is the bar for this is directly where that is.
Oh, yeah. So like the microphone bar is in the way of the keyboard. I get it. I get it.
Not skill issue. So we have Sacred Bell. You lob a bell. Pretty straightforward. You throw the bell out. It deals some damage. It has a warning. It does the things for hitting gods. You get some spirit. But you can see that obviously there's a lot more interactions with this bell than just lobbing it. We'll go through the base kits first, and then we'll talk about all the interactions. Your 2 is a cone attack. Does a cone, does damage.
I'm getting flashbacks of Vamana.
Yes. We'll do cooldowns again just so I can go through all this. Reset cooldowns. Thank you. The close range, though, however, knocks them back. Again, a pretty straightforward ability.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy going on here.
Yeah, don't try and dive me. I will push you away.
The 3 is actually
and her 2 is it's the animation is like she's waving her fan, right?
Yes, she's waving her fan forward. It's basically a fan gust.
Yeah, so it's like the fan is dealing damage, magical damage at range, and if you're too close to her, the fan will actually knock you back with the gust.
Your 3 is actually kind of a different movement ability. It's closer to Chang'e's 2, where you have complete freedom of movement, and you actually get a nice kickoff burst of speed, so you can just move freely. And at the end of it, you're going to fire a projectile. Now, this one is if you hit a target, you gain a massive burst of spirit. This is your primary combo enabler. It's going to actually give you 50 if you hit a god successfully. So if you hit this, you can often play off that knowing that you're going to get your enhanced abilities. It also reduces the cooldown if you hit it successfully in a god pretty significantly. So the more you hit this, the more you get to kind of dance around the battlefield.
Which is pretty fitting for the way Korean shamanism works, right? Because it's like a music and dancing based magic to some extent.
Yeah,
right?
A lot of the rituals have various sounds associated with the spell staff. They have various motions and dances associated with them. So we're trying to be evocative of that with that kind of fluid motion, and also like bringing like she has like her fan weapon and the kind of bell staff. We want to make sure that that is represented. So now onto the combos that you can do. So when a bell is deployed, you can pull it in and fan gust it around. And it's a ricocheting shot, so you can actually ricochet it around areas. You can get in these tight jungle corridors and actually send it flying. You can also, you see how I pulled it to me? If you do it while it's lobbing, you can actually throw it from where it lands. So if you need to do things like, for example, this, that's valid versus here you might actually hit the wall here. So you can actually be flexible in how you actually launch it, either max range to get some extra distance or pull it close to you to get that kind of line skill shot from you.
Yeah, a lot of player agency in how you want to use these abilities. It's not just like, I push this button and it does one thing.
Yes. The bell also can be pushed by the 3. So you can see here the 3 also launches it forward. So you have multiple ways of accessing, because you might have used the 2 already when you get your free 1. We want to make sure you have multiple ways of actually augmenting this. And then each enhanced ability, which I'm just going to ult because that's the easiest way for me to become enhanced quickly by showcasing this. The enhanced one is a much bigger bell, which means that when it gets pushed around, it is a much bigger, like, actual hitbox, and this also now stuns.
Does it stun both when it lands and when it gets pushed, or just...
It slows when it lands, it stuns when it pushes.
Okay.
And the base version does nothing when it lands, slow when it pushes.
Okay.
Your 2 that's enhanced is it's just more damage, and the knockback is further. But if you have, let's say, a normal bell here, and you pull it with an enhanced 2, that bell becomes enhanced. So you can actually enhance a bell that was previously unenhanced by using an enhanced ability to launch it.
Okay.
And the 3, when it's enhanced, turns from a projectile into a skill shot, like line skill shot.
So it's instant
damage.
Okay.
And again, similar to the 2, it does more damage, plus it will automatically enhance a bell. So if you ult here and then enhance 3, that bell is enhanced or will stun.
Okay.
So you can kind of get a feel here that these abilities are relatively straightforward and simple pieces, but how you want to use them and what combinations to be able to enhance it for a stun potentially or not, and how much you want to be trying to, you can also, like, the kit is meant to be where you can decide how you want to approach each fight. So do you want 3 bells to just cover a giant area?
Yeah.
Then use all your charges on these bells. You want to make sure that you can launch them at different targets. You want to just be safe and do things like, essentially, with the way the kit's developed, you can get 3 casts of any single ability, or you can weave them in. So if you just want to be dashing away as someone's chasing you and they're running after you, just go pew, pew, pew at them as they're chasing, perfectly fine. If you keep getting dove and you want to keep knocking them away from you, that's perfectly fine. Or if you want to go all in on the bells, you can get a lot of different combinations going with these effects.
And even if you're not, like, able to fully maximize this kit, because, I'm a small brained Andy, like, if I
Mirrodin also, you can just get a free bell that way, so you can get another bell that way.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
We got four bells now. But, like, from what I've seen, from playing the god a little bit, like, I can just, like, throw out the ball, throw a ball and then knock it around, and I can have fun with her and still do okay, even if I'm not, like, nailing the combos the way that I absolutely need to, right? It's kind of like King Arthur in Smite 1. Like, if you knew how to chain the abilities together, he was stronger.
Yes.
But you could just push the ability that you felt was right for the situation and do okay. And I'm not trying to dumb it down, but I'm just trying to be like, I felt like this god was more approachable than you might think with all of the intricacies of it.
Yes, and especially if you're playing the strength-focused side, which is that more traditional carry role, you're really focused on using the abilities for, like, more zoning potential and then lining up the stun so that you can make sure you land your autos.
Yeah.
Your use case for them is a bit more straightforward. If you play Int, where you're really focusing on these abilities to deal most of the damage for you, you're going to have to really master these combinations. So you have to, if you're going to play the Int focus build, you have to be a bit smart about how you how you approach it versus going just, I'm going to hit really hard with strength.
Chat wants to know the names of the abilities. I know we haven't seen the ult yet, but we skipped the names of the 2 and the 3.
So the second is Warding Gust.
Okay.
And the third ability is Reverent Steps.
Ooh, I like that name.
Yeah, I like Reverent Steps. And then the final one, which we'll go into, is Spirit's Cadence. This is the ultimate. So obviously, just to showcase it, because I think this is a really cool visual.
It is a beautiful ult. And it's like, I think it's very difficult to, like, make things that are, I think, really pretty from an FX perspective that aren't just, like, overwhelming.
Right.
And I think that this does a good job of that. So
the idea here is that she summons a spiritual version of the rituals that she performs at an area. Each dance beat is accentuated with a dancer actually doing a motion, and you have the bell chiming there to help with that. And the ultimate itself does damage in a pulse that slows. Now, so this is useful to drop on an enemy team just to be able to chase them, get some damage out. But you notice that it automatically forces her into her enhanced state, which also is, if I do a 1 here and then ult while I'm still enhanced, it will re-enhance me, giving me another access to an ability. So you can use this at any point to just get an access to your free abilities. So for her...
One thing we did mention, are her autos different while she's in her enhanced mode?
Yes, her autos are also different. They do explosion AoE. So you can also cleave onto enemy targets with that, and you get a nice little pulsing circle there.
Awesome.
So this obviously is just really good for her. But you can also see that I have these little spirits floating around me here.
that are maybe the cutest little spirits we've ever put in the game.
They're called guarding spirits.
Okay.
They want to protect you and your team. And if you were to take lethal damage, it protects you from that lethal damage. So if you would drop to 0, it instead basically protects you, making you immune to all damage, and also silencing and disarming you. So it's not a true cheat death in the sense of you can't die and you just get to continue to fight, but it will protect you from that moment of death, and it will give you a chance to position yourself, and it gives a chance for the enemy to also try and like snipe that kill right as that protection ends. But it's not just for Bari, right? Because that's pretty good for Bari. It's also for her team. So if she has a team here, which will spawn bot Ymir. It's so hard to type when I can't see. There we go. If I have a Ymir here in an ult, you can see that he is also protected by this guarding spirit. So middle of a big team fight, you get to just drop this on the whole enemy team. You get to go super. Oh man, I don't want to say it. You get to go super glowy,
super powered
mode with lots of aura.
Yes.
You get to go. You get your free abilities, and you're also protecting your team, which means that this ultimate is a very powerful team fight tool.
Yeah.
Bari always gets the guarding spirits, but allies have to actually touch this visual area. So
they have to be inside the circle when you cast it.
Yes.
It's not like your whole team gets a free cheat death.
Correct.
And it's only the duration is not.
It's about 4 seconds.
Okay.
So you get 4 seconds to potentially take lethal damage. If you see a Kraken winding up, drop this on them to try and protect your team as much as possible. They'll get essentially the Aegis effect on them where they'll be damage immune, but they won't be able to fight back. And then it's up to them at that point, or you, to try and stun someone off, knock them back with your fan. You can try and protect your teammates as well with the toolkit that's there. But it just gives that extra bit of like teamfight utility that is unique to her that I think has its trade-offs compared to things like I know, like in the thread we talked about the Closer Look blog, where like Kepri and Kali crying in the corner. Kali gets to chase and still gets to try and like get full resets. With
can
that.
Keep attacking during it.
Kepri has like a stim that empowers that person. Also can like the amount of times I've blinked and dashed to safety to get someone to like really far away to make sure that they're alive. This has different applications to that, but it definitely is a powerful effect.
Chat wants to know about executes. Do executes break it?
Executes will go through this.
Okay.
We went back and forth with this a lot internally, but we just felt like execute is one of those things that like things that prevent death don't prevent execute, and that just tends to be the rule. And so I felt like this. There's some debates about whether or not it should, and I think that it should.
Okay.
So that could change if people really want it to, but that just felt right for the effect. It prevents death, so therefore execute goes through it.